What country do we live in? I ask you again, what country do we live in? We have a president that with the stroke of a pen can close an area the size of the Gulf of Mexico. He is about to use the power of the Antiquities Act that can circumvent any public input or legislative approval. Let me remind you that there already exists a monument that extends 50 miles all around the Pacific remote islands.
The coral reefs are already within current monument boundaries. That's a 50 nautical mile demarcation. There are no coral reefs in the deep blue.
The expansion is from 50 to 200 miles around these islands. What is the purpose of the expansion? Is it to protect the pelagic fish, which are highly migratory? Does the president and his advisors understand what highly migratory means?
Again, Brian mentioned these are highly migratory species, so whether it's 50 miles or 200 miles, these fish swim thousands of miles.
In doing this preservation, we need a little bit of nuance, I want to say. I think if you ask most fishery biologists, fishery scientists, whether an expansion from 50 mile to 200 is going to do much of anything for the pelagic ecosystem out there, they'd probably say no, and whatever it would be pretty meaningless.
Find a solution. Manage your resources. Don't get extreme. When you close a resource, you lose it. We still have to feed people. We cannot forget that. If we forget that, we have failed the people of the United States. We failed the people of Hawaii.
There are two U.S. pelagic fisheries that operate in the PRIA EEZ. The first is the Hawaii Longline fishery. That's the one that Sean spoke about. It is recognized as an international model for sustainable and responsible fishing.
Our fisheries in these areas is fishing on a sustainable level. It's the highest regulated fleet in the world. And you know, we asked of the president, you have agencies, you have experts here. One of them sitting at our table at the head right there. Sorry, like not to put you on the spot, but you know, go ask them. Those of you that have opposition, go ask them about the science. What is the benefits? Okay, what is the potential detriments? Okay, it's our own EEZ. Let's use it. Let the Pacific Islanders, you know, harvest from within our own EEZs. We're not touching the reefs. We're far off from the reefs. We have measures in place to prevent seabird and turtle interactions.
What we have to realize here is that the Hawaiian fleet has gone from J-hooks to C-shape to modified C-shape hooks so we don't get birds and turtles, and we have a sustainable fishery.
But people talk about this area being pristine. Boats have been operating, U.S. boats have been operating there for 30, 40 years, if not longer. And yet it's still pristine. We don't go near the beaches. We don't interact with any of the mammals. They're protected by law. There's monk seals, the whales, the turtles, seabirds. We don't go anywhere near the beach. I've never seen a seabird caught in a net. And I know that the longliners here have continually adapted the depth of their nets, or excuse me, the depth of their hooks, and the type of hooks they use to specifically stay away from catching the animals that they do not want to catch, and that are protected.
And we're the leaders in the world as far as preventing interactions. We are the model for the world's fisheries in Hawaii. And now we want to cut ourselves off our own EEZs. It doesn't make sense. We live in the middle of the largest ocean in the world, and we depend on ocean protein to sustain our island economies, our cultures, and our souls.
Fresh fish is super important to our economy, to everybody who lives here. Having sashimi and fresh fish is an important part of our local world.
Please remember that for the Kama'aina, fishing is culture, and the action you are considering would be a death blow to our very essence of being, that our brothers and sisters on the continent have no concept of. Mahalo.
This fishery is so valuable and successful by designating the massive closure around the U.S. EEZ of our Pacific Island possessions, specifically around Johnson and Palmyra, you severely endanger our ability to continue to provide Hawaii and other markets with this renewable food source.
I am one of those fishermen that Brian alluded to. We are a family-owned boat. We've been operating out of American Samoa since 1981, and I don't understand why the fishermen are being vilified. I love the environment as well. We're not miners. We're not a big oil company. We're fishermen. We're feeding people. We feed the economy of American Samoa. And more importantly, we're taxpayers. Brian alluded to the American Samoan economy. 70% of the economy down there is based on fishing. There's one cannery, soon to be two. There's a shipyard, fuel dock. There's a lot going on there for fishermen. Now, maybe it's because they don't vote. No one wants to listen to American Samoa. But let me tell you, you go down there and you shut down the fisheries, it's going to be a big issue for everybody.
The fishery contributes to Honolulu being among the top 10 in the country in terms of value of fish landed. At times, 13 to 15% of the Hawaii longline fisheries annual catch comes from the EEZ of the PRIAs. The fishery produces 90% of the domestically produced fresh big eye tuna, 50% of the domestically produced fresh yellowfin tuna, and 50% of the swordfish.
We're proud that less than 3% of our fish are sold to foreign buyers. So most of our fish is in fact sold domestically, both here and on the mainland.
In 2011, 9% of the U.S. Seafood supply, 9% of the seafood consumed in the United States was produced by U.S. fishermen. That means 91% was imported. Talk about a trade deficit.
Without the supply of fresh tuna to our markets, we will be faced with even more foreign, frozen, and gas imported tuna as our available fish.
We need to move towards self-sufficiency in seafood, not import 91%. And of that 91%, how much of this is illegal, unregulated, unreported? Nobody knows.
Right now, the domestic fleet that goes out there and fishes are really the eyes and the ears of our enforcers. As Mike knows, the Coast Guard can't be everywhere, but the fleet itself is out there.
Foreign boats have been caught in U.S. waters by American purse seiners and reported to the proper authorities, which caught them, fined them. That money didn't go to the boats. We didn't get reimbursed for fuel or anything else. But they are out there. They are the eyes and ears of the government.
So that's a consideration that's very vital. By closing this out, you will encourage the foreign fleets to come over and fish the area, go back home, and being that our domestic fleet can't catch it, we will be buying our own fish from the foreign fleets.
That is where the problem will arise. We have no control over the international fleet. They can come in with their huge purse seiners, their own longliners, etc., and do what they will without any effect that the government, U.S. government, has upon them. What that will in turn do is eliminate the local fishery and fishermen.
And there's a difference between a U.S. fisherman and a foreign fisherman. We have regulations, we have all kinds of people looking over our shoulders, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
There's no region anywhere else in this country that has carried the burden of the monuments like the Western Pacific has.
The U.S. should be proudly supporting U.S. fishermen, not further constraining responsible fishermen operating under U.S. law.
The expansion would realize no gain in environmental protection, but bring with it a whole host of socioeconomic detriments that we cannot afford.
I and my colleagues devote hours upon hours to fishery management because we believe that we can make a difference. As we observe the machinations of our government and see how things really are, it becomes very easy to become discouraged and lose hope in the beliefs that we were raised with. The basic premise on what makes this nation great is being threatened by this act. I implore the President and his advisors to reconsider this expansion or as a viable alternative to give an exemption to the U.S. fisheries.